Good evening and welcome to This Week in Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball, live from McCoy Field in Vernon, Connecticut. Tonight, the Record Journal Expos are visiting the Vernon Orioles. I'm your play-by-play announcer, Dan Saccu, with our producer, Macon Jeffries. Starting lineups for tonight. Batting first and leading off for Record Journal, left fielder Walter. Shortstop Gonzalez batting second. Designated hitter Rich batting third. Maycock, the right fielder, batting fourth. Hendrickson, the catcher. In the 5 spot, Sullivan, third baseman. Galino, the center fielder, at 7. Kizwanos, the first baseman, in 8. And Hartenstein, the second baseman, batting 9th. Defensively for the Vernon Orioles, first baseman Jack Halpin, second baseman Dan Trubia, third baseman Ian Halpin, and the shortstop is Tony Trubia. In left is Kyle Maglio, in center Travis Kozak, and in right is Tyler Pogmore. On the mound is right-hander Zach pitch strike on Walter, and the ball fouled back for an 0-2 count early here. Ball down. Beautiful day today. Sky's mostly clear and sunny. And Walter runs the count. And a little flare to right field drops in for a base hit. So the first runner on for Record Journal Jack Halpin holding Walter on here. And a hard hit ball down the line at first, foul. Vernon Orioles, of 4 consecutive years coming out of the playoff tournament with a championship. And this year they coming in at 3-1. Record Journal in here at 2-1 after their loss to Peoples. And a line drive base hit down the third baseline for Gonzalez. Record Journal suffered a 6-3 loss to Peoples on the 3-run homer by Jeff Fisher. So 2 hits early here, and designated hitter Rich steps to the plate. Donahue looks back at second and gets a first pitch strike here. Frank McCoy Field, named after dedicated McCoy Field, named after and dedicated to Vernon Orioles founder Frank McCoy, longtime Vernon resident. Fouled back here. So no one out, 2 runners on. Walter at second, Gonzalez a shortstop at first. And Halpin behind the runner. And a high pop. And Donahue calling it is called off there by Ian Halpin. And the Orioles have their first out. Right fielder Maycock. Fouled back. Ball outside. He'll count even now, 1-1. Outfield straight away. And infield looks like they're at double play. And a attempt to pick off Walter from second there. Vernon trying to get out of this inning with no damage. And a little nubber that golfed off the top of the bat for a base hit. Took a huge hop. Almost cleared the infield from directly in front of the plate. And now Record Journal, with 1 down, has the bases loaded. And the catcher, Hendrickson, stepping up. Sullivan, the third baseman, on deck. Donahue from the stretch. Missed outside. Missed outside again there. So Hendrickson in charge here, 2-0. And foul over this way. First base side. And 2-1. And slapped toward right center and drops in. And 1 run will be in. And a throw to home keeps Gonzalez at third. But Walter scores the first run here in the top of the first. And so Record Journal does what they need to do here in the top of the first, getting off to an early 1-0 lead. And still only 1 down, and the base is loaded. The third baseman, Sullivan, Donahue with a curve there, misses outside. And count evens at 1-1. Infield still at double play depth. And now 1-2. Ball down low, and the count runs even at 2-2. Gonzalez at third, Maycock at second, and Hendrickson at first, with the first baseman Halpin beside him. And a ground ball towards second, and Trubia picks it up over to Halpin, unable to look towards second for a double play, and Gonzalez scores to make it 2-0. So Sullivan out on the ground ball 4-3. And now with 2 down, the center fielder Galino. And runners on second and third. And a ball outside. Donahue trying to spot these first pitches on the outside part of the plate. And Galino takes a strike there. So 1-1 with Maycock at third and Hendrickson at second. And 2 down. 2 runs in for Record Journal and a 2-0 lead here in the top of the first. Kiswanos, the 8-hitter, on deck. Oh, then it looked like Donahue might have just missed with that pitch. Outside again. And a line drive towards center field and hauled in there by Travis Kozak to end the inning. But not without 2 runs on 4 hits. 2 runners left on. And at the end of 1/2 inning, it's Record Journal 2 and Vernon coming to bat. Baseball fans, join us at Dunkin' Donuts Park for our Spreading Orange charity series on July 21st. 4 games featuring all 8 franchises, and all day long, 1 price admission. Check further details online at ghtbl.org, Facebook GHTBL, and follow us on Instagram at GHTBL. Defensively for Record Journal, Gizwanos at first, Hartenstein second baseman, Sullivan the third baseman, and Gonzalez the shortstop, with Hendrickson the catcher completing the infield. Right field, Maycock, left field, Walter, and center field is Galeno, with player-manager Charlie Hesseltine, the left-hander, on the mound. And the first batter for the Vernon Orioles is the pitcher, Zach Donahue. Takes a strike from Hesseltine here. And Donahue goes down on 3 pitches, swinging for the first out. Rest of the lineup for Vernon. Second baseman Dan Trubia now coming up. Jack Halpin, the first baseman. Tony Trubia, the shortstop. Ian Halpin, the third baseman, batting 5th. Travis Kozak, the center fielder, batting 6th. Tyler Pogmore, the right fielder, batting 7th. And Kyle Maglio in the 8th spot. From left field, Aiden Scott, the catcher, rounds out the rest of the lineup for Vernon. Dan Trubia here, the second baseman. Fouls this one back toward the beach volleyball court. Nice facilities here in Vernon. A variety of different activities, softball field, tennis courts, beach volleyball. And Hesseltine gets Trubia looking for his second strikeout. And up steps the first baseman, left-handed batting Jack Halpin. Two down, no one on, and a 2-0 Record Journal lead here in the bottom of the first. Ball into dirt. And a pop foul on the left side, out of play. The Expos here with a 2-0 lead. Turn the tables a little bit from Friday night, where they were down the entire game and had to claw their way back eventually losing 6-3 to People's United. Close pitch there. And another foul back. Outfield straightaway and deep for Halpin. And Halpin works his way to a free pass, and Vernon has its first runner of tonight's action. Gizwano's holding on Halpin at first, and Tony Trubia, the shortstop, steps in. So 2 pairs of brothers in the Vernon lineup tonight. Dan and Tony Trubia, and Ian and Jack Halpin. Trubia takes one off the shin, like his left shin, front foot there. Gizwano's holding on Halpin with 2 outs. And the 1-1 is nubbed down the right field line, foul. And Hesseltine ahead on the count, the 1-2. And here's the pitch. Slow roller there. Runs the count to 2-2. And another smack down the right field side, foul. So Trubia stays alive here with Halpin at first. And 2 down in the bottom of the first. And Hesseltine. Line drive down the third base line is very close but foul. So Trubia working his way, getting around on these pitches, but nothing in play as of yet. Hesseltine keeps Halpin honest over there at first with Gizwano's holding him on. And a swing and a miss there. So Hesseltine strikes out the side on 4 batters. 1 walk, no runs scored at the end of 1 full. Record Journal Expos 2 and the Vernon Orioles 0. Baseball fans, join us at McCoy Field on July 14th for our Hardball for Heroes charity series featuring all 4 franchises, a night game under the lights on July 14th included in our 4-game set to support the American Legion. That's July 14th at McCoy Field in Middletown, Connecticut. Check further details online at ghtbl.org, Facebook GHTBL, and Instagram at GHTBL. For the Record Journal Expos in the top of the second, leading off is Will Kiswanos, the first baseman, second baseman Hartenstein, and Walter, the left fielder, will be batting third. And if they get any further, it'll be the shortstop Gonzalez. So the 8-9-1 to start off this inning for Peoples, who had 4 hits off Zach Donahue in the first. Donahue, a recent graduate of South Windsor High, will be headed to UConn in the fall on doing some work there with baseball and Coach Penders. And an attempt there from Ian Halpin to get to that ball. Pop foul there by Kiswanos. Left-handed hitting Kiswanos. First baseman for Record Journal. Leadoff batter here in the top of the second. And looked like Donahue just missed on that pitch. And a high pop on the right side of the infield for Halpin, who settles under it. And Kiswanos is retired for the first out here in the top of the second. And we'll get to see the second baseman Hartenstein against Donahue here with 1 down. And a ground ball toward third. Trubia picks it up and fires it over to Halpin for the second out. Two things you'll notice throughout the season from the Vernon Orioles is that they are exceptionally sound defensively. So you won't get too many second chances with them. And a line drive base hit to center field from Walter, and he has his second hit of the game. So defensively, the Orioles don't give up too many second chances, and when you do get them, you had better take advantage of them, because one thing's for sure, on the other side, when you commit mistakes defensively, they can almost always be assured that they'll take advantage of it. If Donahue were to toss over to Walter, who was hopping off at first, and the shortstop Gonzalez standing in with his second at bat, Gonzalez singled and scored in the first, and a tight pitch inside on Gonzalez, who had the bat up for a sacrifice. It looked like he was attempting a bunt and almost took one on the upper part of his shoulder, or maybe even his face, and Gonzalez switches it up. And with a hit and run going, executed nicely there, Gonzalez has his second hit, and Walter Now at third. Runners on first and third. And the designated hitter, Rich, stepping up. So the top of the order, Walter and Gonzalez. With 4 hits and 4 at-bats combined. And Gonzalez takes off from first before the pitch, and Halpin faked the throw over to second to see if he could catch Walter leaning off third, perhaps trying to make an attempt to head home if Halpin had tossed over to second. So Rich now with runners on second and third. And a line drive down toward third base that goes foul. Little number rolls past first. Foul. Record Journal with a 2-0 lead here in the top of the second. Looking to see if they can extend. And Rich gets a third strike looking to end the inning. No runs on 2 hits. 2 runners left on, and at the end of 1.5, it's Record Journal 2 and Vernon 0. So Charlie Hesseltine takes the mound for the second inning. Struck out the side in the bottom of the first. He'll face the third baseman, Ian Halpin, the center fielder, Travis Kozak, and the right fielder, Tyler Pogmore, the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the Orioles here in the bottom of the second. And a drive towards center field. Back goes Galino, and he is unable to get a beat on it. Looked like he was trying to get his footing as that ball was reaching toward the track and was unable to pick it back up again. And so Halpin in at second. And a Tapper foul of first, with Travis Kozak, the center fielder, and Halpin at second. Kozak with a in the rough kind of swing there for a strike, and Hesseltine steps off. You get Halpin back to second. Ball outside here. So let's see if Vernon is able to convert on the error in center field on the leadoff hit from Halpin, as Kozak takes a third pitch strike for the first out here in the bottom of the second. And Tyler Pogmore steps in. A swing and a miss there. And pop foul, first base side, out of play. Hesseltine in charge here, 0-2. And a number third base picked up there and fired over to first. Kiswanos snags the running toss from Sullivan for the second out. And the first out recorded with a ball in play. Halpin at third, and Kyle Maglio, the left fielder, steps in. And a pop fly to left field Walter settles under it, and Vernon is retired in the second with no runs after first batter reaches on the fly to center field. At the end of two complete, Record Journal Expos 2 and the Vernon Orioles 0. So here now in the top of the third, we have the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Record Journal. And the Expos going to try and get something going again. Six hits, 2 runs, 4 runners left on in the first 2 innings for Record Journal. So they've been able to get around on Donahue here in the early inning, and a hopper that was rolling until it got itself jammed up on the mound and landed right in Tony Trubia's glove over to Jack Halpin for the first out. So Hendrickson, the catcher, steps in with 1 down here in the top of the third. And Donahue gets an early first out. And a ground ball towards short in the hole, and Trubia picks it up over to Halpin, and Hendrickson is retired. And there's a good example of the solid defensive play that the Orioles are committed to that has gotten them 4 consecutive championships here in Twilight League baseball. Pop foul this way and out of play.
Heads up.
Donahue ahead now, 0-1 on the third batter of the inning, and a pop fly toward right and out of play again. Runs a count 0-2. Donahue working quickly here, and a ball in the dirt. Now at 1-2. And swing and a miss, and Zach Donahue has his first 1-2-3 inning, courtesy of a couple of nice defensive plays by Tony Trubia at short. He gets his first strikeout, and the Expos are retired in order here in the third. So the 9 hitter here for Vernon steps in. Aiden Scott, the catcher, swinging a miss on the first pitch from the crafty Hesseltine, who has kept the Orioles in check through 2 and 4 strikeouts, and a ground ball to Kiswanos, who scoops it up unassisted on that play. 1 down now, and the top of the order, Donahue, who struck out in the first, swinging. Going to try and see if he can help himself here. Ball tipped off glove Hendrickson for a strike. Donahue looked like he was going to commit on that one. Now down 0-2. And a swing and a miss. And Hesseltine now with his 5th strikeout. And the second out here in the bottom of the third, with the second baseman Dan Trubia stepping up to see if he can get something started for the Orioles. And Hesseltine wanted that first pitch on the outside corner. Not get the call. Curveball up high, and Trubia's on. And Hesseltine issues his second walk of the game. with the first baseman left-handed hitting Jack Halpin stepping up. Gizwano's holding Trubion at first. Expos with a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third, and a pop foul out of play. Sullivan giving chase. On that third base side, and Hesseltine working to Halpin here in the bottom of the third. And there goes Trubia, and Halpin grounds to second to end the inning. So nothing across for Vernon in the third. And Charlie Hesseltine has himself a 5-strikeout, no-hit performance through 3 right now. At the end of 3, it's the Record Journal Expos 2 and the Vernon Orioles 0. Zach Donahue on for the Orioles here in the top of the fourth, facing center fielder Galino, and a drive towards center with Kozak under it. And Galino is retired. His second fly out to center today. Galino retired in the first to end the inning. And now Gizwano steps in with 1 down and no one on. And a drive toward right looks like it's going to hit ground, and it does. And Gizwano's Rabbits on the run here is going to be out at second. So Gizwano records a base hit and thrown out at second for the second out here in the fourth. With the 9-hitter stepping up. 2 outs and no one on. 2-0 Expos. And Donahue works through his second 1-2-3 inning. In the bottom of the fourth, the Orioles will send up the shortstop, Tony Trubia, the third baseman, Ian Halpin, and the center fielder, Travis Kozak, the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Vernon, and see if they can get something started, who have yet to have a runner reach base safely. And Heseltine with 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 1 error through 3 complete. Heseltine on here in the bottom of the fourth. A ground ball toward third. Sullivan scoops it up on a nice play. A running toss that pulls Kiswanos off the bag. And Trubia reaches. So an error there on the throw from Sullivan. And Vernon now with the leadoff runner for the second time tonight. And Ian Halpin, who led off the second with a deep fly ball to center field that was misplayed and ended up on third base there eventually. So Trubia on at first, and Kiswanos holding him on with Heseltine working to the third baseman Halpin. And a drive toward left center field, and Walter has a beat on it, and a nice running catch there to retire Halpin for the first out in the fourth. And up steps the center fielder, Travis Kozak, who struck out looking in the second. And a hard hit ball past the diving Hartenstein to put Kozak on at first, and Tony Trubia moves over to second. So with one down now, the Orioles have two runners on for the first time tonight. Tyler Pogmore steps in. Ball down low there. And a one hopper back to Walter, who converts the double play with Gonzalez and Kiswanos on the receiving end of the 1-6-3 to end the threat here in the bottom of the fourth. Baseball fans, Greater Hartford Twilight League appreciates you listening and viewing our live stream on YouTube from McCoy Field in Vernon, Connecticut. This evening and throughout the season, be highlighting games from all 8 franchises. Our next game will be Thursday and Sunday, June 13th and June 16th. We look forward to you joining us for our next games coming up this week. For the Expos in the top of the 5th, Walter, Gonzalez, and Rich, the 1-2-3 hitters, and Donahue takes to the hill once again. So through 4, Donahue with 3 strikeouts has given up 7 hits and 2 runs. The last 2 innings, and a nice play there by Trubia on a knee over to Halpin is late, and Walter beats it out. So Walter on with the single to lead off the 5th. And prior to that, the Expos had been retired, had 7 consecutive batters retired by Donahue. So Gonzalez steps in, and a drive toward left field is foul. Gonzalez 2 for 2 with a run scored, a single in the first and a single in the second. Walter on at first is now 3 for 3 with a run scored. Donahue swings around over to Halpin. Let's see if the Record Journal has something going here. Last time they had Gonzalez square around, fouled the ball off high in the strike zone, high and tight, and changed up to hit and run. Walter got to third in the second inning with 2 down, and the Expos were unable to convert in that inning. A 2-0 lead here for Record Journal, and Donahue tosses back over to Halpin. A little breezy here today, blowing right to left, and it seems like a couple of the balls were caught up a little bit and carried. It may have been what happened to Galino out in center field for Record Journal back in the second on the misjudged play by off the bat of Ian Halpin. Donahue looks in, and a ball up high. And a toss over there, and the ball scoots away from Halpin, but Walter unable to advance. And a foul tip keeps Gonzalez alive. With the count run full. Designated hitter Rich on deck. And a ball down low. And Donahue looked like he wanted that pitch close down toward the knees. So the designated hitter Rich steps in with 2 runners on and no one out here in the top of the 5th. And a high pop, foul of third base in play, and Ian Halpin hauls that in for the first out. The Expos would love to have an extra run or two here in the late inning to extend their 2-0 lead against the home. And a ground ball base hit, and Walter's going to be held up on Hartenstein's single to right. So 2 hits and a walk now. Get the bases loaded and 1 down. And player manager Charlie Hesseltine playing it conservatively with one down and Hendrickson, the catcher, at the plate. And a high drive towards center field. The right fielder got a beat on it, and Walter will tag up and score to give the Expos a 3-0 lead. Gonzalez moves to third. And Hartenstein stays at first. Little number foul of third. Runners on first and third. One run in here in the fifth. 3-0 Expos. And a foul behind us. And Donahue still working with one out. And a line drive towards short, smothered by Tony Trubia. For the final out of the inning. For the Expos, one run to extend their lead to 3-0. At the end of 5.5, it's the Expos 3 and the Orioles 0. Charlie Hesseltine back on for the Expos, and a one-hit shutout through 4, and he will face the 8-9-1. And a line drive base hit. Kyle Maglio with the leadoff single to right. Aiden Scott, the catcher, steps in with the leadoff batter Donahue waiting on deck. And a line drive toward right center field. That ball's going to drop in. And Maglio rounds second, heading to third, and he will score on the stand-up double off the bat of Aiden Scott. The Orioles break through after 4 difficult innings offensively. Donahue now with a chance to help himself with no one out and a runner on second. And a little number third for Sullivan. Scoops and over to Kiswanos, who is pulled off the bag again by Sullivan, but he picks up the tag on Donahue before he's able to cross, while Aiden Scott advances to third. So Donahue retired for this on the first out here in the bottom of the fifth, and Dan Trubia, the second baseman, follows the first pitch straight back from Hesseltine. So a 3-1 lead here for the Expos, with the Orioles chipping away and a runner on third and one down. Jack Halpin, the left-handed hitting first baseman, on deck. Hasseltine looks over to third. And the ball outside. And a ground ball foul of third. Run the count 1-2. Orioles break through with their first run here in the bottom of the fifth. A curveball, a little short. Trubia now at 2-2. Ball inside. And Hesseltine will have to work full with one down and a runner at third and a fly to center. Galino under it will get Scott in for the second run this inning. And the Orioles now have inched their way back to within one run here in the fifth. Now 2 down, and Jack Halpin, the first baseman, steps in with no one on. First pitch down low. From Hesseltine. So the 8-9 hitters help the Orioles get through here and come within a run. Sullivan back, and a nice play by the third baseman, running behind with his back to the ball in foul territory to record the final out of the fifth inning, but not without 2 runs on 2 hits. No one left on. And at the end of 5 complete, it's the Expos 3 and the Orioles 2. Baseball fans, join us for our charity series from Middletown, Connecticut, Palmer Field on July 14th. 4 games, 1 price admission to support the American Legion. One game under the lights at night, 8 p.m. will start for our final game, and games all afternoon featuring all 8 of our franchises here with the Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball League. That's July 14th at Palmer Field for our Hardball for Heroes charity series. And a line drive base hit for Galeno that reaches the gap, and the hustling Galeno will get into second, diving. With a leadoff double. And that's got to feel pretty good for him. He's struggled a little bit at the plate. Was unable to reach on Thursday against People's United. And in his first 2 at-bats here against the Orioles, has finally broken through with a double. And a handful at bats here in the top of the 6th. And the left-hand hitting Will Kiswanos now ahead on the count 2-0. Kiswanos popped out the first in the second, singled in the fourth, what was thrown out, trying to extend that base hit into a double on a ball that was hit to right field. Donahue tosses back to Tony Trubia, and a high pop to the third baseman Ian Halpin retires Kiswanos for the first out here in the 6th. And up steps the right fielder, Maycock. Maycock struck out in the 4th. And the ball's thrown away, Donahue. And the ball gets past the center fielder, Travis Kozak, and Galeno will score. So the pickoff attempt at second from Donahue to Trubia sends Trubia to the floor, and the ball past the center fielder Kozak with Galeno sprinting home, hustling around the bases in that sequence for the Expos' 4th run. And Maycock strikes out swinging for the second out. Galeno manufactured that run by himself, extending the hard hit ball to the outfield in his at-bat to a double, and then sprinting home on the ball that passes through on the pickoff attempt to second. So with 2 down, the left fielder Walter steps up, and a 4-2 Expo lead. Curveball coming at us here into the picnic area, the Pine Grove picnic area, right behind us. And a swing and a miss to end the inning here in the 6th. And Walter retired for the first time this afternoon. So 1 run on 1 hit, 2 errors, and no one left on. The end of 5 1/2. The Expos 4 and the Orioles 2. Baseball fans, join us on July 21st at Dunkin' Donuts Park in Hartford for our charity series Spreading Orange to support multiple sclerosis. 4 games all afternoon. That's July 21st at Dunkin' Donuts Park for our 2nd charity series of the season to support multiple sclerosis. Look forward to seeing you there, supporting us on our work to extend support to local charities in the Hartford region this season and all season long. So Hasseltine back on the mound. A ground ball smacked to second off the bat of Tony Trubia. Retired for the first out here in the 6th. And a nice pitch inside there by Hasseltine to jump ahead of Ian Halpin, the third baseman, on his first pitch. Fouled back. So now Hasseltine up 0-2 with 1 out and no one on here in the bottom of the 6th. 4-2 Expos. Hasseltine gave up 2 runs in the 5th on 2 hits. And a high flyer there. Reaches the backstop. Hasseltine tossing 3-hit, 5-strikeout performance here in Vernon. And a line drive base hit past the second baseman. Ball just kind of sits out there before Macon picks it up and tosses it in. Pop fly to Gonzalez and a broken bat on the swing from the center fielder Travis Kozak for the second out. So 2 down and 1 on, 4-2 Expo lead. And Tyler Pogmore, the right fielder, steps in. And a fly ball to right, Maycock under it to retire the side. Orioles retired in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit. 1 runner left on at the end of 6 complete. Record Journal 4 and Vernon 2. Baseball fans, check out all the action on ghtbl.org. Like us on Facebook, GHTBL, and follow us on Instagram at GHTBL. Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball League appreciates you viewing and listening to our broadcast live stream on YouTube, available twice a week all season long. Our next games will be Thursday and Sunday, June 13th and 16th. We look forward to you joining us at that time. Our live stream broadcasts are also available for your viewing at any time following our live stream broadcast on YouTube. That's GHTBL on YouTube. So the Expos send up the 2, 3, 4 hitters in the 7th. Gonzalez, Rich, and Hartenstein. And a line drive by Gonzalez deep to left, way back, and hauled in. Right at the fence by Kyle Maglio. A nice over-the-shoulder grab to retire Gonzalez, who is left off the bases for the first time tonight. Prior to that putout, Gonzalez was 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And the second batter, Rich, now retired on the first pitch. So 2 quick outs for Donahue here in the 7th. With Hartenstein coming to the plate. A swing and a miss on the first pitch there. And a high pop toward the left side in foul territory. And Ian Halpin unable to make the play there. Donahue's given up 2 runs in the first, a run in the fifth, and a run in the sixth. Looks like 8 hits and 4 strikeouts so far through 6 2/3. Ground ball to first base. Halpin scoops it up and underhands to Donahue for the 1-2-3 seventh. And the Expos are retired in order in the top of the seventh. The Vernon Orioles will send up their 8-9-1. The same setup they had in the fifth when they broke through with 2 runs. Leading off the bottom of the seventh for the Vernon Orioles, Kyle Maglio made a nice play, over-the-shoulder play in left field last inning. And a little chirping here on the first pitch strike from Hesseltine. A lazy swing gets Hesseltine up 0-2 now to the left field, and Maglio, who flew out in the second, singled in the fifth, scored the first Orioles run, and is retired on the strikeout here. A 1 down for the catcher Aiden Scott. Scott doubled in the fifth and scored and popped out to the first baseman, leading off the third. And a ground ball towards short. Gonzalez hustling in, making a running throw over to Kiswanos to retire Scott. And the second out. Here in the bottom of the seventh. And Donahue the great hope now with the Orioles down 4-2. Donahue struck out in the first and the third. And grounded out third to first in the fifth. Hasseltine the story here for the Expos. Count run 2-1 now. And a drive toward right center that will fall. And Donahue making his way to second is rounding second, and it's held up there with Gonzalez hauling in the throw from Macon. Reaches and dives for a tag on Donahue and unable to get him off of second. Donahue with a leadoff double. I'm sorry, with a two-out double here in the bottom of the seventh, and a tying run, Dan Trubia at the plate. And Trubia hits a fly ball towards center, Galeno under it, and hauls it in for the final out. And the Expos come into Vernon and will run off with a 4-2 win against the Orioles. Charlie Hasseltine, a left-hander for player manager for the Expos. The story here tonight: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 5 hits. So Record Journal runs now to 3-1. Vernon drops to 3-2. The final score tonight from McCoy Field in Vernon, Connecticut. Record Journal Expos 4 and the Vernon Orioles 2. Baseball fans, Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball League appreciates you viewing and listening to our live stream broadcast tonight and every night. Join us this week on Thursday, June 13th, for our next live stream game, and Sunday, June 16th, for our 2 games this week. We look forward to you at seeing you at Palmer Field on July 14th for our Hardball for Heroes baseball charity series supporting the American Legion, and July 21st from Dunkin' Donuts Park in Hartford supporting the Spreading Orange charity series for multiple sclerosis. I'm Dan Saccu with the play-by-play for our producer, Macon Jeffries. This has been GHTBL, Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball, this week.